Hey everyone, Paul Daniels here again, and another nightly fix where we fix whatever we can fix because well, that's all we do, we try to fix things. We got another A1278, and this one's a little bit different. It's actually apparently got problems with the USB ports. Apparently they're not working, supposedly there's liquid damage in here, and I'll show you what comes up when we try to plug in the USB port. So this is what we got when on one port. So we can see we've got absolutely nothing coming through. And on the other port we've got blinky issues showing that the resistance is out of range, there's no milliamps being drawn. It's not a happy little port. So it's interesting that we've got no power on one, but we've got power on the other but no data. Okay, you can see it's a 3115. It actually looks pretty clean overall. So they say is corrosion, alright, I can see some corrosion there. That's pretty nasty stuff. That one actually has eaten through. And we've got corrosion on our divider there, and corrosion. Okay, it's getting worse the more I look at it. Mind you, none of this stuff really. Let's go straight to the USB stuff. Oh yeah, okay, fine. Yep. Just gets worse. Alright. Let's see. Hope the screen was saved. We're all safe there. The corrosion there too. Corrosion there. That's a Broadcom. So that's a comms. It's a differential pair set there. Oh man. And that veer's gone through and died. Mind you, I think that's... I'm not going to take guesses, not after last night. So this whole area looks like it's going to need a good flux and boil. We've got some PCB issues here with the veers. They've corroded through. I'm not sure what you are. You are 9330. Oh, you're the mux between DisplayPort and Thunderbolt. Okay, so alright. It's impressive the display is okay. And what about the chip up here? U9310. DisplayPort redriver as well. What about that piece in here? U4650. SMC debug mux. We are close to the USB port though here. Okay. So that's obviously debugging the SMC through the USB port perhaps. That could be causing complications if it's tying one of the lines. Let's see, which one? I think it was this back one here that had power and that one had no power. Or was it? I've forgotten already. Great. J4600 is the one closest to the memory, and that's the forward one. Alright. Okay, so I would say that there is causing the dramas and why we can't get data. I'm not sure why we don't get power though on 4700. Okay, so if we... it's on the other side. Alright, we're going to have to pull this board out. It could be that the filter's blown. So let's get this out. Okay, let's have a look around the area that is a bit suspect. Somewhere around here. Pretty sure that's the filter in question. Doesn't really seem to be much in the way of corrosion on this side. Check down the bottom. There's a bit of that sea salt type corrosion you normally see. I think at this point our best action is to do the flux and boil and see what comes out of all that. Now we'll clean up this stuff too for the display port. It may not be playing up right now, but I'm sure give it some time and it will. I'm going to turn this board around so I can hold it. The angle I was at, I was risking burning my hands. It does look like most of the corrosion is just going away with the flux, so that's good. Is that line broken down there? That looks like a break to me. Let's see. Yeah, that's definitely that's a break. Alright. Where do you... By the looks of it, you are snaking up and under to that pin there, the bottom one of, funnily enough, the power switch. So that's this here. We can see it goes to... I don't know what that's for. It's a fault line. And see how it's got the inverting dot circle? So I'm guessing it goes to fault when it's low. Yes, it does, because the suffix is L. So OC is most likely overcurrent. So because that's broken, chances are it reads no voltage and it goes blah and triggers the overcurrent. Alright, that's good. I'll explain one thing. What I'm not so sure about is, what are you? You're, according to the board view, you're a debug port enable low. We'll clean that up, but I don't think that's going to be important. That cap needs to take a ride. We'll get rid of this cap as well. And that chip might be fine. But yeah, we'll definitely get rid of that cap, those two caps. Well, we kind of lost them both there, slightly accidentally. I have no idea where that cap went. No, I found that. I'll put them on after I've cleaned up this trace. And I think I definitely want to run that through the via there too. We get our X-Acto knife. spot of flux. Let's get this soldered in. It's interesting, I'm not sure where that goes. It looks like that veer's been done nicely. I suspect the trace goes off somewhere internal between layers 1 and 16 or however many layers I got on these boards. Bit of surface corrosion there, nothing too bad. Should be able to just break this off. All good. Wonder if we can use this piece of wire to help us with the other issue here. Some nice clean copper there. So we can get some over here. It's a little bit precarious here. We don't have a lot of room. Yeah, we've got enough. Okay. Run a bit of solder on there. This wire is actually significantly thicker than what we need, given that this is just a signal line. And I'm not even able to hold it, so maybe come on. Now, because we're on a trace, I'm going to actually use the knife to nick the wire and help it come off. If you try to wiggle it back and forth on some of the traces, particularly if they've been corroded, you can sometimes lift the trace. So it helps to give it a little bit of mechanical support while you get it off. Yeah, I think I'm going to need a toothbrush here. Get a better look at what we've done. I'm just going to clean those legs up a little bit. I'm not feeling convinced about that pad. And it's proven a little tricky to get the soldering iron in there. It's doing a little bit better. Much better. That part there looks a little worse for wear. Let's give that a nice little touch up and see if it improves or yields. That side improved. Would help if I actually applied solder correctly there. Not 100% convinced. Yeah. And we're alright. She's a bit dodgy. Should come up good though. It's much nicer. I'll just throw away that old one. Have a look what part that was. It's this one here, 9318. And oh nice, it's just a 0 ohm bridge. There's no point harvesting 201 or 0 ohm resistor. Ah, crikey. There we go, managed to spot that one before it flew off. Just go and buy yourself a strip of a couple of hundred 0 ohm resistors. Like a couple of hundred 402, 201, 603s even, though I don't see them very often here. But you do use them occasionally. I know I use them in my production work a fair bit. 1206s as well, funnily enough. They make good PC bridges. The ones that are a little harder are 0105s, which are half the size of that. They're a little more expensive. You can get them. Just order them, but yeah, they're a little more expensive considering that they're just technically 0 ohm resistors. Not that such a thing truly exists in our physical world. Alright, we need these two caps now. And So it's a 10 nanofarad, 16 volt. Nothing spectacular there. Second last bag in my collection. I'm starting to panic then for a bit. These are actually 25 volt, but it's not going to be a problem. Not even sure why I bothered to flux that. Because we've still got to put this one on. 4695 is 10 microfarads, 603. Oh wow, 603s. Come on, how'd you get? Oh wow, that's interesting. If you're wondering why I don't just pull this from a 3115 board, I don't seem to have a 3115 board handy. So, I'm just going to have to live with this one. Yeah, I was expecting that. Alright, this is going to be more of a mess than I wanted. Imagine being the machine that has to cut those little circuit boards out. I suspect that has something to do with the fact that it's a 25 volt rated unit. That little riser board might be there to provide... No, actually that doesn't really make a lot of sense, no. At this point I'd say we should try and power it up. See if we get any USB activity on both ports. I'm just going to boot to a USB interface, and that will truly be a good test because we need both power and data to achieve a proper boot. Well, that looks pretty convincing to me. So we'll shut that down, we'll try the other port. So it was the front port, and we'll try the back port. Same thing. Alrighty. That's looking good. I'm pretty happy with that. I think that pretty much convinces me that the USB ports are working. Way to go. Okay, another successful night. That was a little bit different from the usual sort of jobs that we've been having. Not that we really have many usual jobs. In fact, I haven't even had a backlight repair for a while, so oh well. It was nice to see with this, when we put the flux down and gave it the boil, that it actually revealed where the primary fault was with that broken trace with the test pad in the middle of it. And then from there we were able to fix up a couple of other little things that we wanted to do. But I think primarily it was that broken trace that was the real killer. Now, there was a bit of a misunderstanding of the test equipment there with the blinking indicators on the USB, on this USB meter. I think that is more for when you have a high current drain, like you're charging an iPhone or something like that. If you're thinking of getting these USB meters, I can't really recommend these multicolor ones. They look real fancy and you think, oh yeah, they might be good, but the multiple colors actually are a distraction. It makes it hard to read the screen properly. You get the monochrome versions if you can. You can still get them with pretty much the same features, which show the data line resistances and voltages and things like that. But because it's not multicolored, you don't find yourself staring at the wrong thing. Alright, we're going to leave it at that. This is going to go in for an ultrasonic clean. I'll put some UV mask over those traces and things like that, clean it up, give it another check when I'm finished there to make sure everything really is going absolutely right, and run it overnight. And then I'll be back off to the customer and they should be happy. So thank you very much for watching. I'll catch us all next time. Till then, take care.